daughter, Bird Baylor, was a wise person and a uniquely American character. She lived south of Tucson in the Sonoran Desert in an adobe hut where she wrote many wonderful children's books. I love her poem, The Best Town in the World. The poem captures the spirit of the Canyon people who were building an ideal community for themselves, the best that people possibly can. Their shared values unite them and make their community cohesive. They're proud individuals and fiercely independent. Even nature around them is friendly and generously provides them with everything they need, so they are thankful. They have a sense of balance. They work hard, but they also know how to have fun. Okay, so this is the perfect town, but why? A recurring theme in the poem is a sharp distinction between the ideal form of something and a mere imperfect copy of it. Here is how the father reminisces about blackberries. My father says the ones in stores don't taste a thing like those he used to pick. Those tasted just like a blackberry should. And later about the ice cold water in the creek. And the kids say, oh, that doesn't sound that perfect. He'd look surprised and say, but that's the way creek water is supposed to be, ice cold. So we learned that however things were in that town is just exactly how things ought to be. The Canyon people were idealists, not out-of-touch religious nutcases. They weren't simplistic or childishly naive. Their idealism made practical sense. I guess their happiness index will be pretty high. I'm a real idealist too, not a caricature. I don't care how the Bertrand Russell types refute idealism. There are compelling reasons why I am the way I am, and I can explain my thinking. For starters, I'm not a nihilist. I like to know that my life has a meaning and a purpose that transcends my human condition. It's not acceptable for me that I just go through the motions of a pointless existence and then I die and then that's it. I prefer to see myself as an agent of good. Capital G, of course. I believe in objective moral values. My mission in life is to propagate good and reach out to people with a simple message. I have good news for you. It makes sense to persevere and fight a good fight and complete the human journey. To reach what? Eudaimonia, peace, enlightenment, salvation, nirvana, paradiso. People got creative and poetic with these concepts, but as far as I'm concerned, they're all good. I don't need to recap Plato's idealism here. There's tons of good material, good videos on this. But Plato's allegory of the cave is a bit more interesting to me because it is shockingly dramatic, it's timeless, and it fits the world we live in now. So let me strike a classic pose, a pose of academia. Plato says, those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. The modern take on Plato's allegory of the cave, the allegory of the matrix, got people going.
The matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was...
Look again.
There you go. The woman in the red dress could be an agent. I recommend browsing the many intelligent philosophical discussions. There's good content on YouTube as well.
After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I got my red pill. I know how deep the rabbit hole goes. And I know that there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. I believe in beauty and order. The Neoplatonist Michelangelo gets it right in one of his poems. I just like to call it the hammer poem. He says, "When I create a sculpture, my crude hammer derives its motion from the divine master which dwells in heaven. When I raise my hammer, it flies up to the divine smithy, and as I strike down, God guides it." This is the key to creating something magnificent, something unique. The people who shaped my life all believed in this, including my father. Bert Baylor's poem about the Kenyan people resonates with my students. It withstands political correctness and cynicism because the author herself makes it clear at the end of the poem. It's not about nostalgia or falling in love with the past and trying to conserve it. It's not about competing ideologies either. It is about finding the dirt roads that lead to our own Kenyan. And she even points us in the right direction. We always wished that we could live there and be Kenyan people too. Still, I used to wonder if possibly, just possibly, there might be another perfect town somewhere. To find out, I guess, you'd have to follow a lot of dirt roads past a lot of wildflower hills. I guess you'd have to try a lot of ice-cold swimming holes and eat a lot of chocolate cake and pet a lot of dogs. It seems like a good thing to do. Journeys tend to be transformational. We find our own perfect town in ourselves.